Animals. Hockey. When I say those two words, what comes to mind? And no, I'm not talking about those furries that you call mascots that wander around the arena. They scared me when I was kids and they scare me now. I'm talking about the different animals and objects that have been thrown onto the ice throughout the years. Who in their right mind would throw something onto the ice during such a gentleman's sport? A lot of people actually, and it's kind of funny and really strange, but where did this all come from? Calamari. Not everyone's dish, but trust me, it's good. I don't know how to describe its taste. It's like its own thing. What do octopuses have to do with hockey? April 15th, 1952. The Detroit Red Wings are contenders for the Stanley Cup. At the time, it took 8 wins to take the Stanley Cup home, and the Red Wings were on a perfect 7-0 win streak. Not only were they 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup, they were also 1 win away from becoming the first perfect team in the NHL's postseason history. In Detroit's Eastern Market, Jerry and Pete Cusimano came up with the idea of throwing an octopus onto the ice. The two brothers owned a fish market, and the reason they decided to throw an octopus onto the ice was because the 8 tentacles symbolized the 8 wins it took to take the Stanley Cup home. That fateful night, they threw an octopus over the glass, and since then, they've had Detroit history. In the 70s and 80s, the tradition ended up dying down, I guess because the Red Wings weren't as good as they were in 1952. But it ended up coming back in the 90s because the Red Wings started coming back too. There have been so many octopus thrown onto the ice that I can't name every single time. But here's a pretty interesting time. In one 1995 game, fans threw 36 octopus onto the ice, including a specimen weighing 38 pounds. This thing is disgusting to look at. The Red Wings even have an unofficial octopus mascot named Al the Octopus. He's named after the Joe Louis and current Little Caesars Arena, RIP Joe Louis Arena, operation manager, Al Sabatica. I'm not even gonna try that, I'm so sorry, Al.
Al Sabatka here.
Al's job in the arena is to make sure everything is running smoothly, to drive the Zamboni, and to pick up all of the octopuses that have been thrown onto the ice. Every time he picks them up, he always gives his signature twirl of the octopus. Al hangs from the rafters in the arena as a sort of good luck charm for the players, and I'm not talking about the operation manager, it's Al the Octopus. He's the one who hangs from the rafters. Picture that though, that'd be kind of funny.
They've turned the arena into a department store.
What's this?
Now, the rat trick is really interesting. So in 1996, there's this rookie franchise who's really starting to take off, surprising just about everyone. They're called the Golden Knights. They're called the Florida Panthers. As the team psyched up for its 3rd season home opener against the Calgary Flames on October 8th, 1995, Scott Mellanby ends up killing a rat in the locker room with his stick before the game and ends up scoring 2 goals with that same stick. Goalie John Van Beesbrook told reporters that while Mellanby failed to score the hat trick, he did score the rat trick. During the next game, fans threw a plastic rat onto the ice and a new trend is born. Florida fans proceeded to throw more and more rats to the point that some players, mostly on the opposite team, were annoyed and hiding from the rats. Who got the most upset? Patrick Waugh. The Panthers have made it to the Stanley Cup final but are down 2 games. It's game 3, and each goal was followed by a storm of rats. Unlike other players who would cover from the rats, he stood his ground. After letting in 2 goals, he told his teammates no more rats and proceeded to let no more goals in for 2 games, winning the Stanley Cup for the Avalanche. So you can thank Florida fans for pissing off Patrick Waugh and making him want to win even more. The Panthers still embrace the rats, selling them in their stores and the odd one being tossed on the ice, but it's never like this anymore. Now, because of the rat trick, the NHL enforced rules about throwing things onto the ice. Hats are allowed for hat tricks, or teddy bears that are being donated, I guess, but if you throw things, the announcer will give you a warning, and if it continues, your team gets a delay of game penalty. Has this happened before? Oh hell yeah it did, let me tell you about that.
Wow, what a performance, what a show, it's every man for himself, and that's why ice hockey is called a spectator sport.
So it's the 2016 Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 3 and the Washington Capitals face off against the Philadelphia Flyers. I know some of you already know where I'm going with this. At the beginning of the game, Philly honors their founder and chairman Ed Snyder, who helped bring the franchise to Philadelphia in 1967. Every fan got a cool light-up bracelet to wear, which lit up during the ceremony. 50 seconds into the game, Mike Raffle scores a beautiful goal, but that's all to be said for the Flyers, because by the third period, Washington has put up 4 more goals, making it 4-1. Late in the period, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare hits Dmitry Orlov into the boards, resulting in Bellemare and 2 others getting a game misconduct. This is where it all starts turning to shit. Fans start throwing bracelets onto the ice, even hitting Orlov on the bench after his hit. The announcer starts asking fans to stop and show some class.
Hold those wristbands in your hand, show some class here, this is filming.
Ironic coming from a city where a show is named after it, where a guy vomits fake blood onto a woman. I love Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Players like Ovechkin and Simmons begged for people to stop. They just wanted to play some hockey. Eventually, after the fans didn't quit throwing the bracelets, it resulted in a 2-minute delay of game penalty. Ouch. Don't you want your team to win the Stanley Cup? Any penalty is bad for your team, because that's an opportunity for the other team to score. Which is why the final score of the game was 6-1 Washington. Of course, Washington ends up not winning the cup that year, but we all know what happened to them later. Those are just some of the things that are tossed onto the ice, and I know I missed a lot, like the catfish in Nashville or the shark in San Jose, which I feel like you guys can guess why the San Jose Shark fans throw a shark.